How do you want to handle this? Should we just, move your stuff to one side? You should see your face right now.
And just like that, Carrie Bradshaw is turning yet another page in her diary, except this time, it might be the last one in this particular chapter. And just like that, the nostalgia-packed and often divisive Sex and the City revival has wrapped up its third season. Episode 12 dropped on August 14th, bringing us what's being called the series finale. But here's the thing. While the official word says Season 3 is the end, there's still a little buzz and hope that a Season 4 could happen. So, before we close the book completely, let's talk about what we know, why the show ended where it did, and why a fourth season could still be an amazing opportunity to bring in a bunch of new stories and characters. The decision to wrap things up wasn't made lightly. Showrunner Michael Patrick King explained that he made the call alongside Sarah Jessica Parker, our forever Carrie, HBO CEO Casey Bloys, and Sarah Aubrey, head of originals at HBO Max. One interesting thing they did for this final stretch was extend Season 3 from 10 episodes to 12, making the conclusion feel a little more like a celebratory send-off. King admitted that he and Parker actually held off on announcing the final season label right away because they didn't want that shadow hanging over viewers while they were still watching. They wanted people to enjoy the season as it unfolded without already feeling nostalgic for something that hadn't even ended yet. And to be fair, the season really leaned into the fun and heart of the show. It's with great gratitude we thank all the viewers who have let these characters into their homes and their hearts over these many years, King said. That's a sentiment that's hard not to appreciate. Naturally, the cast had a lot to say too. Sarah Jessica Parker posted an emotional tribute on Instagram, reflecting on 27 years of living in Carrie's shoes, and probably her Manolos. She celebrated the enduring friendships of Miranda, Samantha, and Charlotte, but also gave love to the newer connections like Seema and LTW, who added fresh energy to the group. Parker wrote about how much she's loved Carrie over the years and how this chapter felt complete, even though saying goodbye is bittersweet. She described the work on AJLT as joyful, adventurous, and the greatest kind of hard work alongside an extraordinary team of 380 people. Kristen Davis, our forever Charlotte, also shared her feelings. She reposted King's statement and added her own note, calling herself profoundly sad about the ending. She mentioned the 400 artisans who poured their hearts into the show and made it shine, and she didn't hold back in telling fans, "We love you forever and ever." Cynthia Nixon, who plays Miranda, echoed those emotions. On August 1st, she posted her own tribute, calling the ride wild and beautiful and saying she'd miss the daily collaboration, even though she knew those bonds would last well beyond the show. Officially, HBO and Variety confirmed on August 1st that there won't be a Season 4, at least not in the current plan. King's reasoning was creative, not business-related. While writing the last episode of Season 3, he realized it felt like a perfect place to stop. And just like that, the ongoing storytelling of the Sex and the City universe is coming to an end, he said. The finale, split into 2 episodes, was meant to feel like a closing chapter not only for AJLT, but maybe for Sex and the City as a whole. Of course, maybe is doing a lot of work in that sentence, because even though King said it's the end, Parker's own words left the door cracked open. In her post, she talked about completing the chapter, not necessarily closing the entire book on Carrie Bradshaw. And let's be honest, with characters this iconic, it's hard to believe they'll never show up again in some form. Even if it's not And Just Like That, the possibility of another SATC revival, spin-off, or even a special is never completely off the table. Right now, though, there aren't any official plans for more episodes. That's a little bit of a shame, especially because the back half of Season 3 was when the show really seemed to hit its stride. The storytelling tightened up, the humor felt sharper, and the emotional beats landed in a way that made the characters feel more alive again. And that's exactly why the idea of a Season 4, even if it's a long shot, is so tempting. Think about it. A new season could easily bring in a bunch of new characters to shake things up. We've already seen how introducing people like Seema, Che, and LTW added new layers to the show. Season 4 could lean into that even more. Maybe Carrie meets a new neighbor who challenges her in unexpected ways, or Miranda gets drawn into a cause that introduces her to a completely different crowd. Charlotte could take on a new art world project that brings in younger, edgier artists who aren't afraid to ruffle feathers, and of course, the writers could finally give Samantha a storyline that feels bigger than cameos or text messages, whether that's through clever scheduling or creative narrative tricks. Beyond that, the city itself is always a character in SATC and AJLT. A new season could explore parts of New York we haven't seen before, both physically and socially. That could mean everything from underground art scenes to emerging food cultures to political activism. And since AJLT already proved it can mix nostalgia with fresh perspectives, there's no reason Season 4 couldn't balance callbacks to classic SATC moments with entirely new storylines. Another reason a Season 4 could work? These characters are in such interesting phases of their lives. They've evolved past the single-girl dating escapades of the original series, but that doesn't mean there aren't big life shifts ahead. Relationships can still change, careers can pivot, and friendships can be tested in ways that only come with experience and with age. Watching Carrie navigate love and loss in her 50s is just as compelling as watching her navigating dating in her 30s, especially when the writing leans into authenticity. And let's not forget, And Just Like That has already expanded the core cast in ways that make the world richer. If a Season 4 ever happened, it could go even further. Imagine a few multi-episode arcs for side characters we barely got to know in Season 3. Or picture a brand new character who enters as a disruptor, someone who challenges the group's dynamic in ways that are funny, emotional, and maybe even uncomfortable. Those shifts are what keep long-running franchises feeling fresh. For now, though, all eyes are on the two-part finale and how it wraps things up. If King really intended this to be the last word, we can expect it to be packed with emotional payoff and a sense of closure. But even closure can leave room for new beginnings, especially in the world of Sex and the City, where love, friendship, and self-discovery are ongoing themes. So, while HBO might be calling this the end, fans know better than to say never when it comes to Carrie Bradshaw and her friends. After all, if there's one thing the SATC universe has taught us, it's that life has a way of surprising you sometimes in a brand new pair of shoes. For now, And Just Like That Season 3 stands as both a farewell and a reminder of why we fell in love with these characters in the first place. And if a Season 4 ever does happen, it could take that love into entirely new territory with new faces, new stories, and a whole bunch of fresh chaos to keep things interesting. Because just like Carrie's columns, some stories never really end, they just take a little break before the next chapter begins. And that's that for today's video, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video. And don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.